Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. There is again a difficult question. What is the nature of reality according to Islam? According to Muslim philosophers, theologians, and masters of spirituality, I believe the best point again to start is Kelime-i Tawheed, la ilaha illallah. There's no God but God. So if we think about this sacred formula, I think we will be able to answer this question as well. There's no God but God, which is to say, nothing in this world, nothing can be divinized. So this world is absolutely dependent on God. This is what it says. This world is absolutely dependent on God. So there is this relationship between the world and God. So the world does not exist by itself, in itself. That does not sustain itself. But everything in the world, every process, every natural phenomena must be explained in relationship to God. And this is what this world is. The world is something dependent on God. It doesn't exist by itself. And this is, I believe, the most fundamental thing to know about the nature of reality in this world. From another perspective, I believe, we can answer these questions with philosophers, for example, Muslim philosophers, and this answer was assimilated and absorbed into different fields of Islamic sciences, such as Islamic theology and Islamic spirituality. And here how it works and how it is. The world is a contingent being, they say, and God is a necessary being. The world is a contingent being, and this is what they want to say. The world does not exist by itself. It doesn't explain its own existence. You know, we are transient beings. We are transient in the sense that we come and go. Nothing in this world is eternal. Nothing in this world explains its own existence. For example, I do not explain my own existence. You cannot, explain my existence here just by referring to me. You have to include the whole universe to be able to explain my existence, and to be able to explain the universe, you'll have to go to a transcendent source. And I do not explain my own existence. I come and go. I am not infinite, but I'm a finite. I'm an important being. So everything in the world is like that. We do not explain our own existences, but God does. There's one being that does, and that is the necessary being. And that is the necessary existence, and that's God. And we all are contingent beings. As if, this light, sunlight, does not explain its own existence. You are referring it back to the sun to be able to explain. And there's a similar kind of relationship between world and God. We do not explain our existences. We are possible contingent beings. That's another answering this question. Or with Sufis, you can think about the nature of the world. You can say the world is a mirror for the reflection of the divine names. Or it is something like this, the world is actually multiplicity of mirrors on which God's names, God's majestic and beautiful names, are reflected continuously and incessantly. This is what we are. We are these mirrors on which God's names and attributes are reflected. And that's another way of looking at the issue. Or again, with Islamic spirituality, you can say that this world actually is an interplay of God's divine names and attributes. There are majestic names, there are beautiful names, and the world reflects the both. Let me give you an example to make this more accessible. If you look at a glass of water, what you see? Yes, you see a glass of water, but you also see some attributes in this glass of water. You see, for example, the traces of ilm, which is knowledge. To be able to create this beautiful thing, this transparent, beautiful, that's exactly what I need. One needs to know, that's knowledge. Needs to know how to create this. And you also see power, divine power here, because to be able to create those atoms that make up this glass of water and to establish those laws, natural laws that govern their behavior. And that reflects an infinite power. And from, also that reflects God's mercy. That glass of water reflects God's mercy, because God knows what I need and God gives me what I need. So in a glass of water, and you can continue like that, in a glass of water you can see divine power, you can see divine knowledge, you can see divine mercy, divine compassion, divine subtlety, divine, maybe kudus, right? The thing that clean, and God is clean, pure, that the idea of purity that exists in water, that glass of water. So a glass of water is actually a mirror that reflects continuously, incessantly, God's names, and you can see the traces of God's acts in this a glass of water. And in that sense, everything becomes a mirror in which God's names and attributes are reflected continuously and incessantly. But after all these deep thinking, the bottom line is this. The bottom line, the world is absolutely dependent on God in its existence and in the sustenance of this existence. The world is a relative thing and God is the absolute. The world is a finite thing and God is the infinite. The world is the created order and God is the creator. It is essential to understand this only. And if you understand this, also you will have that desire to make a connection between the relative and absolute, between the finite and infinite. Say you're a finite being and you have this consciousness of infinity, you want to assimilate that. You want to come closer to the infinite and the most beautiful and the most perfect being. And that understanding is what Islam teaches, that discernment that nothing in this world can be divinized and nothing in this world can quench our existential thirst and hunger, can answer our questions, but God can do this. So that is the nature of reality. That nature of reality, if it is understood, will drive you to make that attempt to get closer to the source of that reality.